What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we got to talk about Pirates of the Caribbean yet again. And honestly, the news continues to confuse me. There's only 2 movies rumored, but you would think there's like 30. You got rotating screenplay people just going in and out. It's very hard to keep track of, and I've tried my best. We've made videos every step of the way, whether it's the reboot or whether it's Margot Robbie or whether Margot Robbie's is the reboot. It does get kind of crazy, kind of fast. But we got some new dialogue from Jerry Bruckheimer that, again, makes things even weirder, but also, again, brings up that uncomfortable topic of Johnny Depp. Now, let me just brace you for impact yet again. It doesn't give us a yes or no answer. It's once again confusing, and I still stand on everything we've talked about for the last, 6 years or so. It's been actually, I think, longer than that. If you don't have Johnny Depp in the next, I don't care if it's the spin-off one with Margot Robbie or whether it is Pirates 6 or whether it's a weird mixture of the two, the next Pirates film needs to have him as a pretty sizable role. He doesn't have to be the character, but he needs to be one of, and you need to do a proper goodbye. I've said that for more than half a decade, and I will not change my mind on it. After that, you can do whatever you want. But I truly think you have to build the bridge back with Johnny Depp, have him come back, do an actual goodbye to his character, have him be a meaningful character, and then you can do whatever. Is that going to happen? I mean, sometimes it sounds like it is, and then sometimes it sounds like it's not. So let's go over what we're talking about, and I actually think Variety does a really good job of kind of addressing the messiness and the all over the place of it. So Jerry Bruckheimer talked about Pirates of the Caribbean, right? And he says that the reboot is now confirmed to have writer Jeff Nathanson attached. Bruckheimer announced the news in an interview with Entertainment Weekly. Now, Nathanson also wrote the screenplay for Dead Men Tell No Tales, which might have been the weakest movie. I mean, it goes back and forth for me between 5 and 4. I sometimes like 4 more, depending on the day that I watch it. Sometimes I like 5 a little bit, but it's not the greatest writer. But you might be asking, okay, well, where's Ted Elliott? Like, wasn't he writing it? Well, let's get into that. So Bruckheimer says he's cracked it, which is talking about his Pirates reboot. He's got an amazing third act. We just got to clean up the first and second, and then we'll get there. But he wrote a great third act. Bruckheimer again confirmed the plan is to reboot Pirates, which means the next movie wouldn't follow, JD. Now, skipping along, he literally says, it's a reboot, but if it was up to me, he would be in it. I love him. He's a good friend. He's an amazing artist, and he's a unique look. He created Captain Jack. That was not on the page. Variety reported in summer of 2020 that Disney was in early development on 2 Pirates movies, a reboot led by Margot Robbie, and a 6th film written by Craig Mazin and Ted Elliott, the later of whom wrote the first 4. He co-wrote it. Now, Mazin told the LA Times last year the script for Pirates 6 is so weird, he's surprised Disney signed off for it, and we talked about that actually at the time that happened. So whether or not Nathanson's reboot script is a new draft of Mazin's or an entirely new screenplay remains to be seen. And then they go into what Margot Robbie's talked about, but then Jerry Bruckheimer says it's 2 different movies. We hope to get them both made, and I think Disney agrees they really want the Margot one too. And I mean, again, okay, here we are. Like, I don't understand. If you literally follow the timeline, which again, I think Variety does a pretty good job of going through, you have the Margot Robbie one, which has always kind of been up in the air. Like, she kind of confirmed it, and, she talked about how there's never been a strong female kid, which, I went off at her, for that 4 years ago. Very stupid comment. And then, then it was seemingly dropped. And then I think this is twice now that Jerry Bruckheimer says, no, like, we're going to do the other one first, but, like, the Margot one's still going to happen. Okay, so if you follow that through, then Pirates 6 is the one he's talking about that they're doing right now, right? Because the Margot one is the other one that's been pushed. That was originally going to be first, but now it's this one. So that was going to be Pirates 6. It was going to be written by Craig and Ted. What happened? Now you have the writer from 5, and it's like, okay, so did you switch writers? What happened to the original pitch? Is there 3 movies going on? But then he said, well, we want both of them being made. So who's writing who? Also, which one is coming first? I suppose it's not the Margot one, which was a spin-off. So let me get this straight. You're going to do a reboot of Pirates of the Caribbean first. Then you're going to do a spin-off of that reboot, or you're doing a spin-off of the original? Again, like, it's not very clear. And this is why I like doing kind of blanket statements that I do with Pirates in particular. The good news is none of it really matters, right? As I said, it could be Pirates 6. It could be a reboot of Pirates of the Caribbean, but with maybe one or two characters returning, whatever. At the end of the day, you need to have Jack Sparrow in that movie. I don't care if the Margot Robbie one comes out first, which it doesn't seem like it is, but say it is. You need to have Captain Jack Sparrow in that one. If it's whatever the heck this one is, you need to have him in it as well. Now, as I was actually telling my cousin earlier today, the thing that concerns me greatly, right? We kind of skip over the part where he says, "Hey, we want Johnny Depp in it. He wants him in it. It's not really up to him, so that's not ideal. But he has talked to him." So that makes it sound like maybe he could be in it. But here's a question for you. If the third act is already written and very, very good, you just have to clean up acts 1 and 2, how do you not know if he's in it or not? That is what scares me immensely, because here, my gut tells me this, and I really don't even want to say it out loud to project it into the world, but I think I have to. The thing that worries me is that at best, he's a cameo. He comes in, he's in it for 5-10 minutes. He has no noticeable impact on specifically the third act. Because if you already have the third act made, as I just said, right? You have it, it's so great, it's so beautiful, whatever the hot word he's going to use is. But you need to do acts 1 and 2, which, by the way, that's probably how movies work. Like, you have a couple big set pieces, then you have to try to, put them all together. Okay, whatever. But if you don't know if he's going to be in it yet, unless he's a good liar, he could know the answer to it and just not say it. And that would be the best case scenario. So the best case scenario is Jack Sparrow is written into that script and he's just not saying anything. Worst case scenario is the script is generally written. There's room for him here and there, but not as a major role whatsoever. It would just kind of be, hey, if you can convince him to come back for a week of filming, then whatever, we'll throw him in. If you can't, we don't need to redo the script because he's not in the script. It doesn't really matter. That is what I'm terrified of, because we kind of get our way, but we also don't. That's why I'm pretty specific in what I want. If he, like I said in the very beginning of this video, if he comes back, he needs to have a major... He doesn't have to be the character. He's not the main character, in my opinion, in 5. He's not the main character, in my opinion, in 3, which is, I think, is maybe his second or even best performance, and it's my favorite of all Pirates of the Caribbean movies. He is not the main character. I would say Elizabeth is the main character of 3, maybe Will. There's actually quite a few characters before Jack Sparrow. Number 1, which is a lot of people's favorite and is generally received as the favorite, is he? He kind of is with Will. They're kind of both co-leads, but Barbossa's in it quite a bit. It's tough to argue as well. My point being, he doesn't need to be in every scene. He doesn't need to literally be the main character, but he needs to have major parts to play. And like we talked about with 4, we talk about all the time with 4. I actually think 4 relies on him too much. I think it's maybe his best performance, but they rely on him a lot. He works best, and I think the movies work best when he's not relied on to do everything, when he can kind of go in and out. So you don't have to have him again in every scene. He doesn't have to be the main character, but you can't have him on the complete other side of things. He can't be a cameo. You know what I mean? That's the thing that worries me so greatly, is that they keep saying reboot and all that stuff. Look, 5 to a good degree is also a reboot. It's got legacy characters. It's got spawns of, you got Karina and Henry. So you have them, you have their ancestors or whatever, and they're continuing it. And, you have the curse, I guess, of Will, which is connected to 3, but it's not, insanely, you don't necessarily have to watch 3. It would probably have to be more disconnected than that. But at the same time, 4 is a soft reboot. 5 is a soft reboot. 6 being a full-on reboot. I guess full-on reboot is different than soft, right? But again, it depends on the language, because we've heard a variety of things. And also, who is writing these goddamn movies? So at the end of the day, I'm going to keep my eye on it. It's pretty simple, again, what needs to happen, but I do worry about it. But at the same time, I guess I don't, because it is very simple. If he's not in this movie, will I watch it? I think I'll watch it eventually. I don't intend to give them money on it. Will I be happy about it? And absolutely absolutely not. Like, there will absolutely be things that I do if they don't do it. But at the same time, I'm not going to cry myself to sleep or not be able to sleep based off this decision. It's a pretty easy thing they need to do. They need to, absolve themselves of their sins and apologize for the past and all that stuff. It's pretty easy. Honestly, it's not that difficult, and they were in the wrong. Just make it right. And then, as I said, you can do whatever. Maybe not everybody agrees with that next part, right, what I've said before. You can do whatever. If you want to do the Margot thing next and literally not have him in it at all, as for me, just as a fan, as long as you say goodbye to him and as long as he has one final movie, then it's good. It's good because you did what you needed to do. If you leave it where you've left it, with even the behind the scenes stuff, right, the personal stuff, if you leave it there, I just feel like it's insanely disrespectful to continue the franchise without him. I think that is one of the stupidest and just rude, insensitive kind of things. And I think they will pay in the box office. I don't think people are going to do it, but we'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.